Hello YouTube, Nock here with an exhaustive guide about farming in Black Desert. Before we start, let's talk about some previous considerations. What we will need, what we will get, and what to expect. Farming in Black Desert, especially sunflowers, is a great way, if not the best, of making money in the game. On the other hand, there are a couple of things that we must consider. Even if any player can get profit from farming in Black Desert, the profit that you get from farming depends directly on the amount of time that you invest online in the game, which means that if you play, let's say, 2 hours per day and you don't like to leave your PC on for several days in a row, this is not the best way for you to make money. Having a good amount of contribution points and action points on your account is also very important. I must clarify, though, that even if you're not a hardcore player, you can get some profit from farming, but it won't be the most optimal way. With that being said, let's get into a guide. First of all, we need fields to plant our seeds. There are 3 types of fields depending on the number of slots that they have. There are 4 slots, 7 slots and 10 slot fields, and they cost the same amount of contribution points as slots they have. The most optimal way to do this is to directly get the 10 slot field, because we'll see in a while that we will lose a slot per field. While I was talking, you could see in the video how I rented one field, and if you want to rent more than one, you have to store the one that you just rented in a warehouse, and then go back to the same NPC for getting the next one. I don't recommend getting more than 2 fields per character slot you have, discounting your main character. For example, if you have 3 character slots, you should get a maximum of 4 fields. If you have 4 character slots, get 6 fields and so on. You can return the fields that you rented, recovering all the contribution points invested at any point. Now that we have the fields, let's go get the seeds. To do so, the easiest way is just go to the auction house and buy them. The best seeds are the ones that you see in right now. You should buy 9 of those per field you got, if you want to get profit from the very first harvesting. But if you want, you can spend some time in expanding your farm instead of getting profit. But yeah, we'll talk about this later. So basically, you don't have to buy 9 seeds for each field right now. You are good if you buy only 9 for the first one, and you'll see how you expand your farm afterwards. Now let's find a place to put our field. You can check the temperature, humidity, etc. on the thermometer icon in your map, but the growing times won't change that much unless you put them in a very dry and hot zone. So stay away from Media and Valencia and you'll be fine. If you're not sure where to put it, just check where other players put theirs, because you can put your own on the top of theirs. There's no problem. After selecting it from the inventory and putting in place, we step on it, click on the hammer icon and plant our seeds. We will leave 1 slot free per field. We'll see why. Okay, so the reason why we left a free spot in every field is that we will put a scarecrow in there. We can farm without one, but our crops will be attacked by birds, delaying their growth. To craft one scarecrow, first of all, we will need to acquire a worker to craft it for us. So to do so, I'll go to Velia, because I already have everything in there, but you'll see that you can do it wherever you are. So first of all, we get the worker. To get the worker, we just click this Pathfind icon, and yeah, it will take us to the closest war commissioner in the town that we are. In there, we want to get a worker with 60 or more work speed. It's the first parameter in the worker's description if you don't have the English patch. So we will reroll the ones that have less than 60 until we get a good one. Keep in mind that 5 action points will be consumed every time we reroll a worker, and that hiring the worker we want will cost at least 30,000 silver, maybe more if you get a better one. When we have the worker, we need to unlock the proper workshop. There is one in every capital city. I'll show you mine in Velia, because it's the one I had. But you can look for this workshop anywhere. It will just take a while to find it, but it doesn't matter. Remember that you have to unlock the previous houses in order to get to the workshop. Just unlock them as warehouses, so it will be useful. And yeah, remember that you have to unlock a room for your worker as well. Next, we must get the materials to craft the scarecrows. It will be 1 unit of black stone powder and 10 logs per scarecrow. You can chop the logs with an axe from the trees around the town. And the most efficient way to get black stone powder is just to buy them in the action house. Crafting them takes a while and it's not really worth for the purposes of the video. I bought the logs too in the action house to make the video shorter. Notice that we could also craft a waterway for each field. But in my experience, investing a seed slot for a waterway is not really worth. I mean, the waterway, the only thing that it does is to shorten the crop growth. But it's not that much of a difference. But well, feel free to test it yourself if you feel like that. The procedure is the same as with the scarecrow, but with different materials only. Once we have all the materials, we store them in the warehouse of the town where we have the workshop, and send our worker to craft it for us. It will take around half an hour per scarecrow, so yeah, now let's skip this part. Now that the worker finished crafting my scarecrow, I'll find it in the same warehouse where I store the materials. Before going back to the fields, let's buy some fertilizer from the action house, because it will help us grow our crops faster. Now that we have everything, let's just go back to the fields. We will put our scarecrow in the field like if it was a seed. At this point, you should have noticed a lot of messages popping up on your screen telling you that your crops have been attacked by birds, which won't happen now that you have a scarecrow. But also that they have bugs and they have grown so much, so you have to cut them. This is why we need the character slots and the action points. Every time we treat the crops, we spend 1 action point. And also because it's so painful to have to go back with your main character to the field quite often, we will use altered characters. You'll see how. Notice that I have 61 action points right now with my sorceress. So let me change to my tamer. Previously to the video, I left my tamer near the crops intentionally. The altars share the maximum amount of action points, but not the ones consumed. What you have to do is to leave all your altars near your fields, so you can switch to them to treat the crops, even if you're grinding far away with your main character. With my experience, switching every hour to one of your altars will be enough to treat the number of fields that I suggested. Prioritize the crops that have grown slower, trying to make them grow equally. Remember that the action points are recovered over time, and slower when you're not online with a particular character. So when you'll take a break or when you'll go to sleep, just leave your altar with less action points AFK for them to recover action points faster. With some days, you'll just learn how to manage your action points efficiently. Now it's time to gather our products. When the crop has growth over 100%, you can harvest it to get sunflowers, or you can breed it to get up to 3 seeds. If a crop has reached 120% growth, you don't harvest it, you just breed it, since the harvesting products will be less than half. So the point is to breed the crops until you get more than 1 seed, let's say 2. Then you harvest the next one to get sunflowers, and with the 2 seeds from the previous one, you replant both. Going back to the tip from the beginning, if you didn't buy seeds for all your fields, you can expand your farm by just breeding every crop, replanting them and putting the extra seeds on another field. Now let's take our sunflowers to the closest city's warehouse, because we'll craft sunflower crates with them. Oh, and I almost forgot, to apply the fertilizer, position yourself in a corner, as close to the higher amount of fields as possible, because with one single bag of fertilizer, you can fertilize up to 4 fields. Yeah, I know, mine are not in the best place. To craft sunflower crates, we'll need to unlock the proper workshop and have a worker with a room to craft them for us. Again, you can find this workshop in every city, so just take your time to find it. For each crate, we'll need 10 sunflowers and 1 blackstone powder unit. It will take around an hour to craft one, and once we have it, we will sell it to the same city's trading manager. Or, well, we can sell it to another one that we have connected through nodes. But if we don't do so, we'll lose 70% of the crate's value. So that's it. To finish the video, let's summarize the tips and do some maths. First point. We need a significant amount of contribution and action points to be able to unlock all the contribution related items and to be able to take care of the crops. Second point. The crops only grow when you're online. So to do this in the most efficient way, we need to have the game running even if we're not playing it. Third point. We leave our alts near the crops, having the ones with less action points left locked in when we take a rest or we go to sleep. Fourth point. Do not harvest 120% grown crops unless you want to lose production. Just breed them right away. Now maths. From each harvested crop, we get at least 20 sunflowers and a maximum amount of 40. You can sell each sunflower per around 1000 silver in every NPC. So we earn an average of 30,000 silver per crop, with a maximum amount of 40,000 and a minimum amount of 20,000. For each bread crop, we get at least 1 seed and a maximum of 3. We can sell them in the auction house per 20,000 silver each, earning 15,000 each, more or less, after taxes. So a maximum amount of 45,000, a minimum of 15,000 and an average of 30,000. If we craft crates, we get at least 2 crates per crop, a maximum of 4 crates and an average of 3. We sell them per 14,000 each, discounting the price of the blackstone powder. So we earn a minimum of 28,000, a maximum of 56,000 and an average of 42,000. Remember that you can queue several crafts in a row if you have enough space in your warehouse and enough materials, so feel free to expand it, the warehouse, by unlocking houses as warehouses in the city where you craft them. So basically, the best way of earning money through farming sunflowers is to harvest enough of them to fill your warehouse with the crates, leave them crafting, and switching once an hour to both take care of your growing crops and selling the recently crafted crate. This is all by now. I hope you guys enjoyed the guide, and if it was useful for you, like it and share it. Remember to check my other YouTube videos and check the next week's guide. Also, you can come and visit my stream. I stream quite often. You will have the link in the description. And yeah, well, thank you so much for watching, and see you guys soon. Bye.